The importance of emotional intelligence in the workplace. Self-awareness is important. Self-awareness is the ability to identify your emotions and your emotional triggers. Being aware of your feelings helps you understand how others might perceive your emotions. You might use your self-awareness at work to understand how you are viewed by your coworkers, clients, managers. Self-awareness is very important because it has you become aware of your current emotion. So you already know what you're doing. Every step that you take in the workplace when you're trying to get that position to make money, to better yourself as a human being, you have to know how to control yourself. How are you going to control a room if you can't control yourself? Self-regulation. Self-regulation is the ability to control and adjust your emotions to create more positive effect. Being in control of your emotions is essential in any control of your emotions on the job by adjusting your feelings to keep a professional appearance in front of clients. When you work in business and you control a team, you they look up to you. So if you do not know how to self-regulate yourself and your emotions, you won't be able to be respected in meetings and in team meetings, even just that in general. You won't be able to gain the respect of your peers. You have to be able to self-regulate yourself to understand what's currently going on and not actually jump straight into your emotion where you become where you make decisions off emotion. Sometimes you have to make the logical decision, and that requires you to self-regulate your emotions and you use your brain. If you too emotional, you're gonna hurt yourself. Motivation. Motivation is the urge and desire to do something, and it regulates to emotional intelligence because your desire can promote different feelings towards something. For example, having a desire to complete all your daily tasks successfully might be displayed as intrinsic motivation to your employer and a way of fulfilling your own inner needs and goals. Motivation is ideally just the surface, but it obviously you need to be able to know what to do in the surface. Once you're in the surface, you have to dig deeper. You have to be very consistent. Eventually, motivation becomes a discipline to complete daily goals, to become the best in your field, or to become the best person you can possibly be, and just achieve general goals. Empathy is the ability to identify and understand the feelings of another person. Understanding the feelings of others allows you to handle the workplace situation more effectively. For instance, when a co-worker is showing signs of dismay, you can react with empathy to alleviate a situation that might have become worse. Social skills. Social skills are the tools used to communicate and interact with other people. Having stronger social skills like effective communication and respect allows you to listen, speak, and resolve conflicts more efficiently. Social skills can be used in the workplace to develop your career and are essential tools for leaders. You have to be able to communicate in order to make moves and to be able to do anything or get whatever you want in life. It's all about getting what you want. And with social skill, you know how to communicate with your teachers, with your sports, with your coaches. If you're able to work with them and speak to them and have a relationship in which where am I lacking? Am I doing good here? Am I doing bad here? Well, what is going on with me? Then when it gets to that point and you know how to communicate with your set boss, or whoever is in charge, whoever can improve you in your field of work, communication opens up that channel for you. If you don't communicate, they won't know and they won't help you. Good followers need a good leader. Many qualities same between leaders and followers. A group of leaders follows the same traits as a follower, do but change their style and do some modifications in it. Great leaders know their boundary and limitations very well. Good leadership is a golden key to get the best performance. You need to imply your own clear sets of values, beliefs, and also to make a clear vision for you all. Develop some creative ideas for the organization to make changes, reach up the desired goal. From this perspective, leaders are always try that people follow the process in the way leaders always need themselves as followers. There is a very important reason to leaders that they have to follow because no one can do it alone and have to create and utilize their energy and ideas and full potential from everyone. You have to be able to know your team. You have to be able to know your team and their strengths in order for them to build you up and to have you become a better company. You need a good team to become a better company. So in order to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower because you have to understand different cultural differences amongst your teammates. You have to be able to identify your team members. Leaders require a close study of human behavior. It is the people and the factors of importance. There are many different points of view about one belief, and the leadership has to be taught, whilst some are of the view that leaders can't be made by teaching or training. In the modern age, new leaders can't be made by teaching or training. In this modern age, new leaders are coming, but most of them fail to cultivate their inner strength, ability to guide the people to lead. There are three basic steps in which to follow most in the process of training. Information is the first step, gets a simple reading and a continuous study, which converts it into knowledge, wisdom, and transformation of knowledge. Trained person has to be able to transfer the knowledge into practice. To be a leader requires much more than just being a boss. Most people have a tendency to try to become a boss because of their inner demons, because of their inner situations with themselves in which where they crave so much power, they fail to become leaders and want people to follow them and they become dictators. And in most cases, people like that fail in business. And they don't really last long, but yeah, they may last long, but some of them, but in general, that's not a delightful way of creating a business that will succeed and will carry on for a long haul. You have to have your employees happy. You have to have self-awareness and you have to be aware of your team members as well. And ideally, most bosses that are in tune with their teams have the most successful businesses. Thus, taking all overview, the leaders has to be a dynamic and should be capable of to turn the adversity into its favors to to gain this. The leader must have the capacity to concentrate and focus and attend on the goal with the aptitude to take timely decisions, have to sincere in his dealings. He has to show his faithfulness, loyalty towards the mission, and the people should possess a fair knowledge of his job and profession. As a leader, you have to have the traits, and those traits can be built. You have to have the traits in which to just gain respect from people, and respect comes from fearlessness, maverickness. You understand? That's where it comes from, and true leaders um carry themselves well and expect the rest to carry themselves well. They have to be an example. That's why they're the leader. Unconscious bias. Unconscious bias is also called impli- implicit bias, is the attitude of the stereotypes people hold in an unconscious part of their brains. These biases insist outside of the control and they might match how you feel when you give conscious thought to the subject. Implicit bias guide you respond to people or situations without you realizing they're part of your thinking. Not all implicit bias are negative. You have to have the unconscious positive association. For example, you might have an implicit bias in favor of fluffy white dog. That bias may make you automatically feel affectionate towards all fluffy white dogs you meet. Unconscious bias, ideally, most people do have favorites because of they may relate to a person, but as a boss, you keep your relationships with your employees. as professional as possible, as much as it has to be emotionally enjoyable. Where you know your boss is a good guy, but it has to stay professional. You're the one that holds everyone together. So, our conscious bias, I don't believe that. I believe you shouldn't be biased, but it's a natural human feature that most people have, and I guess it can be worked on, but you don't allow your relationships with your team members to become not more than professional because you won't be able to make the right decisions. Um, hey, I really don't. I don't. Nah, not when I'm running a business. It's hard to recognize your own implicit bias. You can't consciously connect with them because the situations are so deep in your conscious thinking. You can't figure them out through typical stereotypical or even through traditional therapy. Anger management, strong emotions can negatively affect both your mental and physical health. It makes sense to learn and tame the temper. Anger can trigger physical features such as difficult sleeping, heart problems, increased substance use, headaches, high blood pressure, and a digestive stress. Yes, it may do that, but same with self-awareness. Be able to have an IQ, be able to control your emotions. You have to be able to. You cannot be a leader if you do not have a good IQ. If you do not know, have emotional intelligence, cannot be someone at that caliber, and especially in the workplace. In the workplace, you have to be able to tolerate your team members and not start commotion that may trigger something that will become bigger and that will have the whole team lose their performance. It's that's why keeping a great team is so important. But anger management is something that needs to be kept on, and you cannot work in a team full of great human beings and not be able to control yourself. That's a big sign of weakness. Thank you.